Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm doing the 10th installment of my color palette challenge, which means we have characters number 19 and 20 today. So number 19 here is Subtle Melancholy, which is a very muted purple and green color palette. When I think of melancholy, it's obviously very sad, and subtle is like subtle sadness, I guess. I wasn't really sure what subtle melancholy meant, so I decided to design a girl walking with a rain cloud over her, and she's just kind of hands in her pockets, looking down at the ground, just moving along without really any emotion in her face. It reminds me a lot of the anxiety piece that I did. I can't remember how many characters ago that was because I've done so many of them now. But it was similar colors in the sense that they were darker, more cool tone, and I kind of got like a sad vibe from them. So the line art is definitely not as good as it probably could be. I didn't use my line smoothing tool as much as I usually do, so some of the lines are kind of bumpy, in particular on the legs, but that's okay. I'm going to admit I did kind of rush this drawing. I have had kind of a rough week, to be quite honest with you. My cat got sick and I had to take him to the vet. I got a mark I did not like on an assignment, and it just seems like the week, things just keep going worse. So I really didn't have the time or the energy, really, to be putting a lot of work into these two pieces, but the next one I put a lot more effort in because I was kind of using it as an escape from the unfortunate parts of life that are happening this week. So fingers crossed next week is better. I think it's supposed to be based on what my schedule looks like, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I played with the colors around for this one for a while. Originally I had the hoodie and the skin tone swapped, but I decided I didn't like how bright the color was for her face, so I switched them so that the gray was her face, and I think that just kind of highlighted that she's sad when you have no color in your face. Not that I really had a lot to choose from here. My favorite part of this entire drawing is the cloud above her. I used the Conceptual 2 tool, which I've used for some abstract pieces in the past, and I love how fluffy it made the cloud look. Because it's not a completely opaque brush, you're able to see the different layers, and if you layer it enough, it kind of looked like a cloud. And then I used a different brush and just kind of lightly dragged it across the screen in order to make the raindrops, and I did it on a couple different layers so that it was behind her, with her, and in front of her, and also in front of the line work. So now I'm just adding some shadows here to kind of tie everything all together, and here is the finished piece. So moving on to character number 20. So this one is Castle in the Sky. I think this is such a fun color palette with the two ends being so different from each other, where you have like the red and then the greenish blue color. So the first thing that I thought was a literal castle in the sky, like a castle sitting on a cloud. And then I was like, okay, well, if I want to add a character in there, how am I going to put a character in there? Originally, I had a person that was like really small and it was going to be a silhouette, but I was like, well, that doesn't really make sense if the character's a silhouette and the castle isn't. So I had to change my idea. And then when I think of castles, excuse me, I think of like medieval times. Even though there are still castles in modern times. I'm sorry if you just heard my cat do a gigantic parkour jump across the bed. Anyways, I think of medieval times, and so I thought of like a knight on a horse approaching this castle, but then I was like, well, a horse wouldn't be on a cloud, but a Pegasus would. So I added wings to my horse, and then I just drew like a normal girl. I was not about to draw a whole suit of armor. Not that I really had the colors for that anyways. It would be like a suit of leather armor, which in my opinion is kind of pointless. So I just drew her in some really neutral clothes and then added the wings onto the Pegasus to make it a special horse. And the line art in this one is a little better than the first one because I did use my smoothing tool. As you can see me drawing and redrawing the same part a bazillion times. I didn't quite get the perspective right on her face. I should have drawn it a little bit more like tilted or turned towards the left, but I couldn't seem to figure that out. So Her face ended up being mostly sideways, but that's okay. I am pretty happy with this piece overall. I think that the concept ended up turning out really well, and I liked my use of the colors. I did have to utilize, I think, every single mixed color in the palette, which is something that I actually rarely do, and I did use every single one of the other colors as well. The line art, I toned down the darkest maroon shade there, like I frequently do, and then for the sky, I chose my 3 lightest colors and then added the clouds in the next 3 lightest, so I guess like the medium colors. And then I chose to do the Pegasus and the castle in the green tones, again using like the mixed colors for the shading and darker parts. And then I chose her to be neutral in the middle, and I thought that would kind of help her stand out from the Pegasus. And then having the Pegasus and the castle in the bluish green color would help them stand out from the sky and the clouds. I didn't want to do line art on the castle because I kind of wanted it to look almost like a dream, I guess. I'm not really sure if that makes sense at all, and I don't really know if it worked out what I was trying to go for, but I wanted the girl on the Pegasus to kind of be I guess what draws your attention first, so that's why I did the line art for them, and then not the castle, because again, I wanted it to be like in the distance, kind of dreamlike up in the clouds, and then her on her Pegasus was not a dream. So I ended up playing with the opacity and adding some more clouds or just general fogginess around it, and this is the final piece. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post new videos every Monday afternoon, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I will see you all next week.